Hi, it's Liz from G Mum's World again, and I'm here with Loveswept number 346, Sweet Bliss by Joan Elliott Pickart, and it was published in 1989. Here is the synopsis. Bliss Barton woke up with her first hangover and a half-naked hunk in her bed. Giving her a smile that would melt icebergs, Dutton McHugh found Bliss enchanting, a sleek rumpled beauty with a halo of auburn curls and a feisty temper only he could ignite. Was Dutton a bad dream or an early Christmas present, Bliss wondered, until she recognised her brother's rowdy buddy, and vowed he wasn't her type. She was the careful, cautious one in the clan of free spirits, a late bloomer who'd never sown wild oats. But Dutton taught her ecstasy with his lips and inflamed her desire, while she tempted him to taste her forbidden fruit. When they were suspected of being lovers, Dutton suggested a clever charade, but Bliss secretly yearned for their affair to be real. In his arms she couldn't hide her dreams any longer, and in hers he knew he'd come home. Could Dutton shatter the wall around her heart and convince his angel in velvet they'd be together forever? Loveswept. Love stories you'll never forget by authors you'll always remember. Here are the first paragraphs. So Bliss Barton thought dully, this was a hangover. She shifted on the bed and instantly realised that had been a mistake, as pain rocketed through her head. She was not, she decided, going to open her eyes or try to move again. Death could simply claim her while she lay straight as a pencil, and that would be that. Maybe she'd moan, she thought. The way she felt, she deserved to moan. A lot. Everything hurt, not just her head, but everything, including her nose, teeth, stomach, and yes, even her hair. Sunlight was beating against her eyelids, and that was extremely rude because her eyelids hurt. Oh, where was the Grim Reaper when a person needed him? It had, she admitted, been quite a party. Not that she remembered much after the 7th or 8th champagne toast made to her brother and his bride-to-be. Steve and Mandy had looked so happy, so in love, and Bliss had lifted her glass time and again like a trooper. She, who usually made one drink last an entire evening, had guzzled the delicious bubbly wine. Well, she rationalised, it wasn't every day of the week that one's older brother set the date to marry the woman of his heart, and the party had been in Bliss's apartment, so she hadn't had to worry about driving in her socially unacceptable condition. The truth of the matter was, she didn't even remember how she'd gotten into bed. Did one's dying in one's own bed, she wondered, have the same pizzazz as a cowboy croaking with his boots on? Was she at least going to check out with a little class? Oh dear heaven, her poor aching self. Bliss moaned. She moaned because she'd earned the right, and because there was an outside chance that it would somehow make her feel better. It didn't, but she moaned again anyway. No joke, a deep voice mumbled. Bliss stiffened so quickly that she jerked on the bed. Her eyes flew open and she turned her head sharply. In wide-eyed, pain-ridden horror, she stared at the "Please don't let this be true" scene before her. Stretched out next to her on the double bed was a man, a half-naked man, clad only in grey slacks, lying on his back. One large hand was splayed on his flat, bare stomach, while his other arm lay next to her. His eyes were closed, dark lashes fanning on lean cheeks, and a dark stubble of beard covered a square jaw. She was looking at his profile, could see his high forehead, straight nose, the hint of what would probably be nicely shaped lips. His hair was a thick, tousled black mass. Wide shoulders matched his beautifully muscled arms and chest, and he was tall, his bare feet reaching nearly to the end of the bed. He was, without a doubt, Bliss mused, one fantastic hunk of the male species. But what was he doing in her bed? Stay calm, Bliss told herself. She always stayed calm. She was known for her calmness. She prided herself on the fact that when everyone around her lost it, she maintained her proper demeanour and, for Pete's sake, stayed calm. A funny little noise escaped from her lips. She knew it was hysteria waiting to break loose in the form of a near-splitting scream. She definitely was not calm. There was a half-naked man in her bed. She'd never seen him before in her life. She had no idea how he'd gotten there. She screamed. The man shot up to a sitting position. Bliss's body went rigid and she clamped her mouth closed before another scream could erupt. The man cradled his head in both hands and groaned, a deep noise that seemed to come all the way from the bottom of his big bare feet. He flopped back against the pillow with a thud, his hand still pressed to his head, his eyes closed. "For Christ's sake," he said gruffly, "have mercy, don't do that again." Bliss scrambled out from beneath the blankets, ignoring the throbbing pain in her head and eyes. Kneeling on the bed, she noticed absently that she was wearing her purple football jersey nightshirt, with the number 10 in white on the front. She pressed one hand to her forehead as a wave of dizziness assaulted her, then straightened. "Hey," she said, aware that her voice was shaking. "Who in the blue blazes are you, and what are you doing in my bed? And how did you get here? And I'll scream if I darn well please, mister, because this is my bedroom, and you don't belong in it. Now haul your big carcass up and out of here, or I'll scream loud enough to bring the Marines running. Got that?" He dropped his hands to his chest, slowly turned his head, and peered at her with one half-opened eye. "Huh?" Oh, he really was gorgeous, Bliss thought. She could see all of his face now, and he was something. Stubbly beard, messy hair and all. Even in his dishevelled state, he oozed power and masculinity, each part of him more magnificent than the last. That, however, did not erase the fact that she had no idea who he was, nor that he had no business whatsoever being in her bed. "Get out of my bed," she shouted. "Oh, damn," he said, squeezing his eyes closed. "Would you quit yelling? I'm dying here, Bliss. The least you can do is let me go to my maker in peace." Bliss, she thought frantically. He knew who she was. Why didn't she know who he was? He felt, apparently, as rotten as she did, which meant he'd tipped too many at the party too. Still, she didn't remember meeting him or even seeing him. Oh, Lord, this was mortifying. Nothing like this had ever happened to her in her 25 years. She led a quiet, orderly, calm life. Bliss Barton didn't wake up with a hangover and a strange man in her bed. Bliss Barton didn't wake up with any man in her bed. Thank you very much. She didn't give wild parties either. Well, she thought dryly, when she blew it, she didn't mess around. She'd hosted the bash of the year, gotten blitzed for the first time in her life, and was suffering pain and agony from her overindulgence. And there was a half-naked stranger in her bed. The tricky part now, Bliss decided, massaging her temples, was to come out of this fiasco with at least a shred of her dignity intact. Was she calm? Yes. She'd gotten it together, was back in control, and as calm as a summer breeze, she hoped. "Well," she said, striving for a lightness, to her voice, but not quite pulling it off. "I've heard of leftovers from a party, but I always thought that meant stuff you could put into Tupperware." She paused. "Small joke there." The man said. "But the party is long over, so it's rise and shine time. Everybody goes home. Right? Absolutely. I'm going to trot my little self into the shower, and when I come out, you'll be gone." Poof! Disappeared, never to be seen again. Here I go, into the shower. "Bliss, would you please be quiet?" That does it. She spun around and slid off the bed, weaving unsteadily for a moment when she stood. She flattened her hands on the top of her head with the hope of keeping it attached to the rest of her body and glared at the inert form on the bed. "You have 3 seconds to get up and out of here, Buster, or I'm calling the police. If you think I'm kidding, just try me. Oh, and another thing. How is it that you know my name when I don't have the foggiest notion who you are? Answer me that." The man turned his head and opened both eyes, revealing irises such a deep shade of brown they were nearly black, the pupils hardly discernible. What beautiful eyes, she thought, and they were surrounded by such long dark lashes. He really was something. Oh, forget it. Enough was enough. "I'm Dutton McHugh," he said, his voice deep and rumbly. "Your brother Steve introduced us at the party last night." "And she was Bliss," Dutton mused, with the bright blue eyes and riot of auburn curls that fell to her shoulders. Bliss Barton, a slender woman of average height, with delicate, lovely features and very sensuous lips. She looked terrific the night before in an emerald green jumpsuit that accentuated her tiny waist and small but enticing breasts. And the story goes on from there. This was a lovely book filled with love and laughter and family. There are a couple of love scenes, but like always with the Loveswepts, nothing too explicit. Joan Elliott Pickart's characters are strong and capable of anything. I especially loved the Christmas setting in this book. I've put a link below for Joan Elliott Pickart's books. Give them a try, you might surprise yourself. As always, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, smash the like button, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching this video.